Georgia Congressman Buddy Carter, great to see you this morning, Congressman. So it's ironic that Democrats pushed for these files to be released, and now we're seeing it kind of backfire in their face. What do you make of all of this?
Well, this is nothing more than a distraction. I've said that from the very beginning. They're trying to deflect from the Schumer-Ossoff shutdown that was a big failure and that put unnecessary pain on the American people, that had our SNAP and WIC beneficiaries starving, literally, that had our troops not being paid. All of this is nothing more than a distraction. But I applaud the president and his transparency. And I applaud Congress, with the exception of one member. Every member of Congress voted for the release of these files, and that's what we need. And what we're going to see, I think, is a lot of things that the Democrats are not going to like. First of all, Bill Clinton, who flew on Epstein's plane 26 times. Larry Summers, the former Treasury Secretary, who had a very close relationship. And remember, the Democrats refused to refund $32,000 in contributions from Jeffrey Epstein. So all of this together, I think, is going to backfire on them.
Yeah, you mentioned it, Congressman. I mean, the released emails showed Epstein was invited to a Democrat fundraiser in 2013 after being convicted. We know Hakeem Jeffries tried to raise money from him. Then you've got Democrat Representative Stacey Plaskett being coached via text directly from Epstein during a 2019 hearing. And look, I know there's a lot of Republicans right now that are really kind of upset because the House did not censure Congresswoman Plaskett. Some suggest there might have been a deal cut by leadership to spare Corey Mills from Florida, a Republican, from also being censured in a separate sex scandal. You voted to censure Congresswoman Plaskett. What do you make of this?
Well, quite honestly, while I respect my colleagues, my Republican colleagues who voted against this, I'm disappointed. I mean, this is something that, look, it is an honor and a privilege to serve in Congress, and we should be held to a higher standard than this, regardless of whether you're a Republican or a Democrat. Look, folks, this is serious stuff up here, and we need to take it that way. And when you're communicating with a convicted felon, with a pedophile, and while you're at a hearing, I think that's serious, and I think she should have been censored, and I'm disappointed. However, I do respect them, and I respect their right to vote that way. As far as a deal with leadership and the Corey Mills, I don't know anything about that. I'd be very, very disappointed if that was the case.
All right, Congressman, I want to shift gears while we have you here because you are a member of the House Budget Committee and there are 9 appropriation bills to go still. So how is that process playing out? And do you think the government will shut down again at the end of January?
Well, I certainly hope it won't. And if it does, it'll be because of the Democrats again and them playing their games and causing unnecessary pain and suffering for the American citizens, for our troops, for our WIC and our SNAP beneficiaries, and for all our federal employees. This is really unnecessary. I am very confident in Chairman Cole and the Appropriations Committee. We've already passed 3 of the 12 appropriation bills. I don't know that we'll get all 12 of them passed. I think it was 1997 is the last time we passed all 12 of them, but I do feel very confident we'll get the majority of them done. And we can keep the government open and pass another CR if we need to, along with some minibuses, as we did just recently.
Yeah, staying with the budget, Congressman, I mean, we know Democrats want to extend COVID-era tax subsidies for Obamacare, including for people making about $500,000 a year. I don't see Republicans ever going for that. This seems to be the hill they want to die on. Do you think some subsidies might be extended while a longer-term fix is hammered out?
Well, that's yet to be determined, and we will see. I will tell you this. I like the president's proposal that we send the money directly to the citizens and let them buy their own insurance, as opposed to sending it to the insurance companies. I had a business for 32 years, and I provided health care insurance for all my employees. But at one point, I said, look, I'm going to give you a stipend. I'm going to let you go, and I'm going to let you buy your own insurance. Now, I don't agree that it should be cash. It ought to be a voucher that can only be used for insurance, because if we send them cash, they're going to spend it somewhere else and then end up in the emergency room. We're going to have to absorb that cost. However, I do agree with the principle that the president is proposing here. I think it's a great idea.
Information. Truth is freedom. is Newsmax. It's real news for real people.